All right. Test.
Test.
Call it again?
Convincing idiots.
Convincing idiots.
Called it ham gravy.
I informed them that I sided with the Statman, not just anyone's opinion, the Statman Brian Fisher.
These kids today.
Jingle All the Way is in fact the best Christmas movie of all time.
I need to get Grandma a present, and my herpes is flaring up. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, yo, yo. I'm the millennial
We're
Santa.
three friends representing three different generations. That's our whole shtick. That's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nick got the whole poop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing in the sea
Awesome.
breeze, holding a turd, just mightily. I'm just going hitting hats.
Anyway, on a lighter note,
And welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the vodcast. Welcome to the broadcast. Boys and girls, welcome to the show. This is Convincing Idiots. My name's Dean, the Zennial.
I'm Brian GenX.
And I am the resident millennial around here. My name is Nick, and if this is your first time joining us, we are three friends who get together just about every week and talk about all different kinds of nerd and pop culture things.
Just about. We get together every week.
That's what I said. Just about. I'm part of we. So just about every week. I'm on quite a streak.
You said we.
This is 2 in a row, I think, for me now, or 3 in a row. So here we go.
Wow.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Look at that.
quite the streak going.
Stepping it up. I like to.
I
I
wish you'd
like to
streak.
pull my weight around here. Anyway, we get together every week, talk about nerd and pop culture things, things of that nature that matter to us, may or may not matter to you. But if this is your first time joining us, welcome. Please go to all of our social media accounts and like, subscribe, rate, review, follow, do all the things. Okay. And if you would like links to all of those social media platforms, you can go to our link tree. Just Google Convincing Idiots, LINKTREE, and there you're going to have nice links for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Our email address is on there, as well as different platforms that you can listen to our podcast. You can also go for that information to our website. That is convincingidiots.wordpress.com. And while you're there, poke around. Maybe you'd like to know a little something about us. Maybe you'd like to help out the show. Maybe you just think we're weird looking and you'd like to use that in your hurtful comments online afterwards. We're fine with all of it. So for this,
Or what you do in the dark when your mom's not watching.
Mm-hmm, that is correct. So for this week, we have joined together in the name of justice. We have joined together in the name of vengeance.
Martha.
And we have joined together by the commonality of our mother's first names. We are going to be speaking later on this evening about none other than The Batman, the movie, yes, as well as...
I thought you were talking about we were going to be docking each other.
As well as some of our favorite Batman content over the years. Movies, actors, villains, portrayals, all these things. So if you're interested in The Batman and you have not seen the film, I would quickly pause this podcast, listen to the first half. When we go to break, pause it, run out, watch the movie, come right back, pick right back up where you left off, and listen to the second half. So there will be definitely spoilers, so just be aware. But for the first half,
We're spoiling and spoiling.
for the first half, you are safe. For the first half, we're just gonna hang out, talk a little bit, see what's going on with everybody. Even though we spent a good chunk of this weekend together, so we all know what's going on. But let's start with Dean. Dean, what have you been up to since we last spoke on the airwaves?
Well, let's start with I got a new pen.
Nice. Black or blue ink?
Yeah. Black. And get this, the pen can write underwater. And it can write other words too.
You know, it would be great for a pen that writes underwater if something terrible, some natural disaster happened to your home. Perhaps if you found it underwater, you would be able to write down important information with that underwater pen, like, I don't know, phone numbers or something.
Well, Shit, I got things listed here.
What did we talk about with helping with the goddamn segue?
I know. I have a set of routines here, and you've just ruined like 5 pages here. All
You
right,
did
fine.
5 pages of intro prep work to talk about what you did since last week?
I am a professional. I can. Okay, fine. Let me do the read since Nick is making me.
You're not getting out of fucking how
I got
are
no
you
choice.
without the read, man. Yeah.
I guess.
Let's go. We're on a time crunch. Let's get the
Right.
Batman. Come on.
Let me tell you, Blake Insurance is an Erie insurance agency located right here in Barberton, Ohio. They provide auto, home, renters, and business. Oh, did I mention life insurance? They also provide life insurance with honesty, decency, and affordability. Erie Insurance is above all else in service. Call 234-571-5359. Did you hear me? I will say it again. 234-571-5359 or visit BlakeInsuranceLLC.com for your free 5-minute quote today. Make sure to tell them Convincing Idiots sent you. Thank you.
Okay, enough of
Very
all the
good,
business.
young man.
Would you get to what you did this weekend? What have you been up to? Why won't you tell us what you've been doing?
I want to tell you about my pen and insurance, but fine. I will tell you what I've personally been up to. My beautiful, amazing, lovely girlfriend, Megan, had a birthday. The birthday girl, we all went out and celebrated for her birthday. You. We celebrated her birthday. We went downtown Wadsworth, Ohio.
The Wad,
We
as
had
the kids call it.
The Wad. I don't think anybody
Pretty sure the
calls
kids.
it the
Pretty
Wad.
sure the kids call it the Wad. but Go on.
No, that sounds icky.
I got my ears to the streets. They
Well-
call it the Wad.
Nick was all over the Wad. Let me tell you that.
You should sell that to the local community.
I think they'd buy it.
It's like banners on downtown Wad.
That's right.
Or
Okay,
something
so
like
we.
that. Yeah.
So Nick was in the Wad,
Mhm.
and all of us were in the Wad.
Town.
Wad.
Yep.
Wad Town.
I like it.
Wad Town, USA.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we had barbecue, we had beer, we had laughs, we had flossing, and not the kind with teeth. I mean,
Yes.
we probably did that too.
We
but
did have flossing.
at the bar, we had flossing, and it's on video.
I would say it bordered competitive flossing, if there is such a thing.
For who? Who was competitive?
I
in
feel
that?
like it was competitive.
I lost.
No,
really
it was
bad.
like a competitive, like to the outside world, like to
to
you know,
yourself
show your skills. Yeah,
because you were going at
as a
it
floss off.
in the Wad.
Yeah.
The floss off. Nick won the floss off. I tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I watched WrestleMania and had a good time. So
That's cool.
that's the only thing with me besides my new pen. If I can tell you more about it, but never
All I
mind.
need to know is whether or
You
not
got-
it writes Blake Insurance Agency's number down.
You mother. Yes, it does.
Good.
It does.
Is there more about the pen? What?
No.
Just throwing away your show prep?
Brian. Brian, what have you been up to?
Friday nice evening with Allie. Saturday, of course, as you mentioned, we all got together. Allie wasn't feeling that well. Unfortunately, I had to take her back home. She's okay now. Just
Good.
had to get some rest that evening. But we had a great time Saturday night together. And then Sunday,
You didn't floss.
nope, I did not floss. Just the teeth. And
Yeah.
Allie's dad turned 75 years of age on Saturday. So we had
Wow.
a Rogalski celebration on Sunday. Went out to lunch with her lovely family and back to their house and visit and ice cream and cake and all that. So that was very nice. And saw another friend for her birthday. Cooper's wife, Amy, stopped by there Sunday evening, visited with them for a while. So a nice birthday, family, friend-filled weekend. So very nice.
You were all about the birthdays this weekend. Look at you.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely was. Nick, how are you, sir? How was
I'm well.
Not,
what's new
not
with
that
you?
we care.
I am well also. I also went out for Megan's birthday party, as was mentioned.
Do you have a pen? Did you buy a
I
pen?
didn't buy a pen, no.
Okay.
I have this one that clicks like normal, and it works just fine. And it also writes Blake Insurance Agency's number wherever I would like to put it, so that's nice. I can write it on my
That's right.
hand. I can write it on a paper.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got somewhere you can stick it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm open to options.
Right
I
in-
like functionality in a pen.
Well, I would probably suggest you stick it in your seat. I don't know, maybe the one you're on, or maybe the one that would ride on an electric bike sometime.
No,
Yeah.
interesting. Very good. In the first half of the show, we're going to do both ad reads. All right. Well, let me
I did
just
it- I did
tell
mine out of
you
spite.
a little bit about the seats on electric bikes. You might have apprehensive thoughts about electric bike seats. Are they cushion enough for my needs? Yes, I can't speak for all electric bike cushions, but I can speak for the ones at our friends at RPM Bike Shops.
And Nick's butt's normally very sore. So.
That's right. Located in Carrollton, Ohio. So if you're out there and you got a sore bum and you need some extra padding on that sumbitch, you better go to RPM Bike Shops for your electric bike, because their seats have got what your butts needs. Okay, so just Google RPM Bike Shop. You can do that. You can also go to their Facebook and just search up RPM Bike Shop. You can also give them a call, 330-808-7792. And our friends located in Carrollton, Ohio at RPM Bike Shop will hook you up with a nice, soft, plush, cushiony electric bike for you to put your buns in today.
All right.
Well done, sir.
Thank you.
Well
Thank
done.
you. Thanks for the setup, Dean. I appreciate and value the work that you do to help me in that moment.
You do not.
Thank you.
You're
I am
mad.
appreciative of you. No, it was a good weekend, though. I definitely paid for Saturday on Sunday. I was not feeling great. I was not feeling great on Sunday. Had a rough start to the day there. But after some good rest, a little bit of Gatorade in the system, and some violent vomiting, I was back to normal in no time.
Really?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yikes.
But yeah, it was
Just a little
bit.
violent
Just a little
vomiting.
violent just a touch of violent vomiting.
A little violent vomiting. I think we found our show name.
But it was good. It was good. It was a fun time with you guys. Good time flossing and having some delicious beers and playing Jenga. The Jenga was very intense.
Yes.
That was fun. I'm always down for a good Jenga battle. That was fun.
Absolutely.
So yeah, but other than that, just hanging out with my family. The kids are on spring break this week, so that's cool. Hanging out with them, and got some plans later in the week that I will not disclose just yet. But looking forward to something a little later in the week that the boys aren't aware of. So yeah, just been hanging out, watching some hockey, watching my beautiful, perfect Austin Matthews of the Toronto Maple Leafs break more records.
Good night, buddy.
So it's good stuff. Good stuff. But that's about it.
All right.
Breaking records, huh?
Breaking records.
Good.
Shatter.
Good.
Yes.
When you guys coming up with the playoffs? So that's in June, right?
Let's see. Yes, we will be. It'll start the beginning of May. This is the last month, so June is usually when the Stanley Cup is awarded. But this year,
Okay.
the season started a little late. They're still trying to make up time from COVID layoffs and things like that, trying to get back on the correct schedule. But playoffs should start the beginning of May.
Good.
Yes.
Fantastic.
All right. Okay. How about idiot reviews here, fellas? You watch anything interesting since our last?
Well, I can start us off with something I think we can all talk a little bit about. I know you've both seen it, and I now have seen it as of Friday.
Venereal disease.
Venereal disease.
Up close and personal.
Yes, the Marvel spinoff that no one asked for is here on Disney Plus.
VD man. Dun, 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 dun.
But no, Moon Knight obviously is the new Disney Plus series. So I would like to hear what you guys thought of it.
I thought it was cool. It was not only was it like a good show, like cinematically, it looked good. The special effects were cool. The concept's really neat. It's very different than any other Marvel product, I think.
Yes.
The feel of it is very different. I don't know how they. I mean, I'm sure they're going to be able to, but I don't know how they tie this into the rest.
Does it need to, though?
I said that about the.
You know what I mean? Like, can you just have a standalone? They
No,
don't all
I
have
guess
to tie
not.
in.
I guess not. But I mean, that's what they that's what they do. That's what they're known for, right?
Yeah. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Oh no, I that's pretty much it. I mean, I enjoyed it.
They don't typically go longer than that, Brian. That's about as lengthy as the thoughts get.
Right. I've got very little space up here. I've got to use it wisely. No, I love Oscar Isaac. I was very afraid that this was going to be a British accent through the whole movie or through the whole show. And then once you realize, or I guess quasi realize what's going on.
Yeah.
I guess we don't really fully grasp it yet.
It's a thicker English accent too, eh? Like it's like Welsh almost or something. It's like it's real thick. And when it first started, I was like, am I going to be able to understand him through this whole thing? Like it's very thick.
I had to stop and Google him because like I'm pretty sure he's like Colombian American. But I at least have to check. And yeah, no, he's some sort of like a Colombian or born in Colombia, something like that. American.
Okay.
Brian, what do you think?
I thought it was really cool. I mean, the character itself is very interesting to begin with. He started in the comics in the late, I think it was mid 70s actually, and he was around in the 80s when I was really collecting, and I just never really got into it, never really got it. But they've sort of changed his character traits in the comics throughout the years, and that's what they're kind of using in the series here. So he basically has dissociative identity disorder. So he has split personalities as Mark Spector, who's the mercenary guy, and Oscar. Is it Oscar Isaac? That's the fucking actor. It was.
What are the odds they would find somebody with the exact same name to play the character?
You're good. You're going to be perfect.
Yeah. So let's see. What's the other? It's Stephen Grant. That's the museum gift shop guy. So, and then he gets possessed.
I got a question about it though.
The Egyptian moon god Khonshu. Go ahead.
What, since you're reading that, or I'm assuming that's how you know about this, is your research on it because you're the stat man.
Yeah.
My question is, does he have a multiple person or split personality disorder, or is so like if he wasn't possessed by this moon god, he would have multiple personalities anyways.
Correct. Yes, that's his disorder. See, I got a little confused too because I was thinking that Mark Spector was the guy who, when he's Mark Spector, he's Moon Knight. No, that's just part of his multiple personalities, and then Khonshu is this extra dynamic that comes into his body, but clearly on the show, his personality of Mark Spector is trying to convince the weaker personality to allow Khonshu to take over his body so he could survive some of these attacks and so forth.
Now, do you think we'll find out in this show who he is? Like, who's the number one personality? Who was he born as?
That is a good question. I don't know that it's... I don't know. I don't know if you'll find that out or not. Steven seems to be I guess you don't know because he's
it could be
clearly been doing things
for the audience.
Exactly, like he made a date with his coworker, didn't remember it. So did Mark Spector make the date? Just forgot, not sure. Obviously, the whole stuff he's finding with the flip phone and all kinds of weird stuff. So, when they first announced Oscar Isaac, I'm like, do we have to continue to cross over Star Wars and DC? It's like the same people crossing back and forth and stuff like that. I'm like, can't they find somebody else?
If you're going to do it, give us more Daisy Ridley, please. Right,
exactly, of course. But he was terrific. I thought his acting was just awesome. With the two personalities was great. It was well written. It was well shot. I love the whole preparation down to the details of him putting the sand around his bed to see if he walks in his sleep, and buckling himself in, and the tape on the door, and all these things he's trying to do to survive and stay away. So
I do a lot of that stuff too. Mine's because of a sexual fetish.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Nick, you taught me.
That's right.
That's right.
Has nothing to do with the feet
get
pics.
Out, you can see the tape has been removed or not or whatever. No, so that was great. I thought, and Ethan Hawke, I thought is a very interesting villain, terrific actor as well. And I don't know. So first episode, I was very impressed. I actually rewatched it with Ali, and she loved it as well. So I am definitely hooked after one episode. So, Nick, what did you think?
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was. I liked, like Dean said, it's definitely different. I like that it's. I thought it was kind of creepy and stuff. I hope it stays that way. I hope it's not just the allure of like this new, thing that's happening to him and the his unawareness to the situation. I hope it stays kind of creepy, with a creepy vibe like that. I definitely thought to myself, I'm like, if I had watched this like with perhaps the help of some jazz cabbage, I probably would have been freaked out. Like, because it kind of messes with your head the way when you don't know what's happening. He kind of goes in and out of reality. Yeah. So, but yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was cool. I'd never heard of the character Moon Knight. Never. I'm not as into like all the different comic book character stuff. I know all the main ones, but I had no idea who Moon Knight was. Definitely thought the trailer was intriguing. And I really like the first episode. I hope it kind of stays in that tone. It's very enjoyable. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes.
I could see this universe here sort of like, it would not surprise me, like maybe some of the first heroes that Moon Knight interacts with, maybe like a Daredevil. That's a great opportunity to incorporate that type of dark type of hero. Maybe Spider-Man could be, perhaps, I don't know, but it's just a darker type universe feel. Go ahead.
What about this? Since they're talking about like old Egyptian gods, could we see some of the Eternals, one or two Eternals?
Never know.
Do cameos. Sure. You know what I mean? Yeah. Since they're talking about gods and whatnot, and old beings.
Mm-hmm.
Or could you get glimpses of Rotman Tut? I believe it was Ramatut, Kang the Conqueror's one of his personalities or whatever you want to call it.
That's interesting. Sure, that's interesting as well.
The Egyptian.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if they don't specifically say it, they can make reference to it.
Sure.
You'll hear the name said by somebody for something or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it's all very cool, and I'll post it in our group on the Facebook page, Convincing Idiots. So we have a group in there, a nerdy group. Somebody posted it online. There's a glimpse. People catch all kinds of Easter eggs. It's very cool. But in the museum, there's a scene on the wall. There's like those the scanners.
Yeah.
I saw that.
And you could scan the code, and it gives you a digital comic. I think it's the original or one of the early stories of Moon Knight from Werewolf by Night back in the 70s. One of his first, or might have been his first appearance, which is pretty cool. So, yeah. Okay. Very good. So we're all hooked. Definitely recommend Moon Knight. Okay. Guys, see anything else? Anything else interesting you want to bring up?
Since I watched it, you guys don't care much about it, but I did watch WrestleMania. It was a 2-night event now. Still big. They have to make it 2 nights. It was a lot of fun. So a couple of the things you guys would have found interesting or whatnot, but one of the wrestlers, Sami Zayn, went against Johnny Knoxville.
Really?
Oh, geez.
From Jackass, and they Wee Man was there. Wee Man body slammed Sami Zayn. Chris Pontius did the sexy boy thing where he's dancing,
party boy,
in the Speedo. Party boy, yeah. They did the whole hand slap. They brought a lot of stuff. It was entertaining.
It's mutual promotion. There's a new Jackass movie and stuff like that out. So
in the promotion leading up to it, Johnny Knoxville actually put Sami Zayn's phone number on a airplane and flew it over California. I'm sure it was a burner phone, but he did carry a phone and was answering it occasionally and like posting some of the text messages that people were sending, and yeah, they did a whole thing. Sami Zayn crashed the Jackass premiere red carpet event to start the promotion and whatnot. But yeah, it was fun. Steve Austin wrestled after 19
I
years.
saw a piece of that. Yeah.
Wow.
It was very cool. Like he dude didn't lose a step. I mean, he fought a current wrestler, Kevin Owens, and they started out just it was a Steve Austin match. I mean, they fought into the crowd. He suplexed Steve Austin onto the cement. So I mean, the dude's like 59 years old,
Jesus,
taking bumps like that.
Yeah, that's wild.
Man.
It was fun to watch. At one point, Steve Austin he had a four-wheeler out there, and he threw Kevin Owens on the front and rode him up to the top of the ramp and fought up there.
Nice.
It was a whole big thing. It was a lot of fun.
Very cool.
Nice.
Brian, what about you? Anything besides?
I don't think I've seen anything new. I'll just keep mentioning it. I am so hooked on this Lakers show on HBO Max.
Yeah.
The last episode dropped Sunday night at 9:00, and it's winning time. The story of the rise of the Lakers dynasty. It's just so good. I'm just, like I said, I'm gonna have to watch it. Is now my series that I'm just waiting for the new episode to drop. John C. Reilly again. I've said it many times. He's just absolutely terrific. The guy that plays Magic Johnson resembles him. He's got good mannerisms, just across the board. Well, you know how the whole story plays out. But just very interesting to see how it all started from a.
Is it true? Like when the Bulls would come out, they did dun 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 dun, and they had that song, right?
Yeah.
Their entrance theme. Is it true when Magic Johnson came out, they played da 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 da?
AIDS.
That wasn't until the 90s. Yeah, not yet. They're still.
You tied it in Magic
where I was
Johnson.
going?
I was like, here it comes. Did it? I knew it.
It
Yeah.
goes.
Yep. That's about it. And I'm still working through The Walking Dead. So it's the final season of the original Walking Dead
Holy
series.
shit.
Yeah, 11 seasons. They have different universes within different shows within that universe. I'm trying to say, but the final season's pretty compelling. Your last glimpse at some of these characters. A lot of the originals have since
How
moved on
mad
to
are
other
you going
projects.
to be?
Or what's that?
How mad are you going to be that for the finale, it's all going to be in Bob Newhart's head?
That'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
It
a
was all
zombie
a
Bob
dream.
Newhart. The zombie Bob Newhart is like. That'd be
And they use
fun. That'd be
subtitles
cool.
at the end. Like,
I like
he
that.
wakes up next to the wife. He played his wife's died, right? I think.
I'm not sure, but yeah, that
I
would be
don't know.
pretty awesome.
That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm. That's it, Nick. Anything else for you, sir?
I wanted to shout out real quick. This weekend, the host of Saturday Night Live was a stand-up comedian by the name of Gerard Carmichael.
Very funny.
Yeah,
it was very
and
good.
it was okay. So the episode was phenomenal. Like every sketch was hilarious, and he was great in his monologue. And he'd recently become pretty well known. He's got a new stand-up special on HBO Max in which he
also had his own show on NBC called the Gerard Carmichael Show.
When?
It's a couple of years ago. I don't think it's on anymore.
Oh,
it lasted like
okay.
2 seasons.
Yeah, I'd never heard of him before. But yeah, so it prompted me to go watch his stand-up special, and the guy's just hilarious. His stand-up is really like different in the respect that it's like, at least this, I've never seen any other of his stand-up except for this special, but this particular one, it's almost like you're watching a guy in a therapy session. But it's funny. Like it's like you're watching him work through issues and speak to like the audience is his therapist, and he's just laying this stuff out there and talking about this really real stuff.
What's
but
it
it's
on?
funny. HBO Max.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's hilarious. He's really funny. So just I'd check out Gerard Carmichael if you've heard of him. Great. If you have not,
I'm definitely checking that
I
out.
had never heard of him before this weekend when he hosted SNL, and then I watched his stand-up comic show. But they both were fantastic. Very, very good.
Who is it? I remember back in the day, Tosh Point oh at the end of his shows would say who he's doing, all the places he's doing stand-up specialists, and I remember him specifically saying that Gerard Carmichael was going to be with him.
Oh, okay.
I never heard the guy, and I still never seen a stand-up.
Yeah.
But I remember specifically him saying that, he'd be on the road with him.
Yeah. Yep, very good. I would strongly recommend checking it out. Yeah.
It was good. And of course, they had to touch on the Oscar slaps. They had a good skit there,
Yeah,
and the news segment was actually one of their better ones lately, with a lot of the jokes about the slap and
Brian,
stuff. Pretty good
did
stuff.
you enjoy the one with the doll? The doll. I won't give anything else away if people are watching Saturday Night Live.
That was good.
The doll skit.
That was funny.
Skit was awesome.
Yeah. When the sales shot up, that was pretty funny.
It's got to be rough, like Gerard Carmichael or any stand-up comic up there on the stage by themselves, And when you do a bad set and you die, I mean, that's a death beyond death. Speaking of, don't we have some other things to talk about? What?
Yeah. Speaking of
Doing
speaking
a
of
segue.
speaking of death,
The king of segues.
Yeah.
Come on.
We did not mention it last week, but we should mention that drummer Taylor Hawkins of the Foo Fighters passed away suddenly. We meant to talk about it and just kind of forgot with all the topics we had on hand last week. But he was honored nicely at the Grammys on Sunday. But certainly in our generation, a terrific rock drummer, and the three of us had just seen recently the Studio 666 Foo Fighters movie. And those guys looked like they had a lot of fun together making that movie. And Taylor was, certainly probably one of the better actors in that movie, frankly. But I don't know. So, Nick, any thoughts on Taylor Hawkins, Foo Fighters? Are you a fan?
Yeah, it's just really sad. I am. It's really sad. I guess this could also tie into an idiot review. But a few weeks back, I was watching on HBO Max as well a documentary on the early part of Alanis Morissette's career, her coming up, and the making of Jagged Little Pill specifically. Had no idea that Taylor Hawkins was her drummer and was the drummer on Jagged Little Pill. Did not know that.
Wow.
And he's in a lot of that documentary talking about, just what it was like and, different dynamics of the group and things like that. Definitely an incredible drummer. I remember telling my mom, I said, one of the things that I'll always remember about Taylor Hawkins was that early on in the Foo Fighters, when they really started taking off, I remember one of their, obviously one of their big hits was Everlong. And in the music video for Everlong, Dave Grohl is kind of going through this dream sequence and his wife's laying in bed and whatever. And, I just remember this video carrying on and his wife's having a nightmare and whatever. And at the end of the video, the wife gets up, kicks off the covers, and out of the bed is a drum set, and it's Taylor Hawkins. The entire time, Taylor Hawkins was his wife, but you had no idea because he looked so damn pretty as a girl that you really didn't like. If you you weren't familiar with him, you weren't aware that was not, in fact, a girl in the music video. And we were just the first time I saw it, I was like, "Holy shit, that was the drummer the whole time? Is that a guy?" And then. I think he also I think he played a woman in Learn to Fly, the Learn to Fly video, or Learning to Fly, or which I can't remember what.
Well, didn't they both play him as a flight attendants?
That's right. Yes, you're right. Yeah, him and Dave Grohl were both flight attendants. That's correct. But he was just, I don't know, he had a charisma about him, and you say nice things about people when they die and whatever, but he did. He always had that it factor, and I heard somebody say that that the Foo Fighters were one of the greatest rock bands of recent history, but the true Dave Grohl is the front man of the group, but Taylor Hawkins was truly the rock star of the group. And I thought that was very fitting. He definitely had that charisma to him. And, it just bummed me out when I heard that. I mean, so unexpected. He was very young. He had kids and young kids, I think 3 children. I could be mistaken on that, but that's just really sad. Just to see someone go before their time, someone so talented, and it's just a sad thing. So,
Dean,
everything that Nick said. When people die, especially so young, you kind of. a lot of people say, "Oh, let's when older people pass, let's celebrate what they had and what they did." This guy, you could truly do that. Yes, it's very, very sad, but I mean, at how old does anybody know how old he was?
50.
Yeah.
50. To leave a legacy, to leave a legacy that he did at 50 is just, I mean, remarkable, right? I mean, he is a staple in rock and roll history.
Mhm.
There's only a fucking handful of people who can say that.
Yeah.
Sure.
That left their living mark on rock and roll, and he did that. He got 10 albums in. He got he got to be in a movie with his friends. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, God bless the man. Incredible career, incredible life. Sad, very sad.
Absolutely. We lost a well-known actress as well this past weekend. 93 years of age, Estelle Harris. You may not know the name, but you definitely know the actress. She was most well known for playing the mother of George Costanza on the Seinfeld series for several seasons. She also voiced Mrs. Potato Head in the Toy Story movies and some other things as well. But certainly her role as Mrs. Costanza, it just when her and Jerry Stiller and George Costanza were in the same scene together, I don't care what episode it was, whatever it was, in my opinion, it was gold. Like how those three interacted.
Jerry,
exactly. And it was like you could tell how it was believable in the sense of how George could be such a screwed up grown man with parents like Ben Stiller and Estelle Harris on the show. So I thought she was hilarious. So many good moments across that entire series. Keith mentioned it last night, the one when she came in and caught George in the house with the Glamour magazine and fell and threw her back out, and she's laid up in the bed. It just so many moments was just absolutely terrific. So rest in peace.
When Kramer stopped short on her.
Yes, that's right. She thought he was hitting on her.
Feeling her up.
Oh my God, so good. So, Dean, you were a fan of Seinfeld?
Huge fan of Seinfeld. Yeah, that's again. It's hard to put comparisons on somebody 50 years old and some what she probably in her 80s.
93. Yeah.
93.
Yeah. Oh shit, man. God bless. I mean, that's look at her. 93 years old.
She was 43 when
lucky.
Taylor Hawkins was born.
Right.
Wow. Right. Wow. Yep.
I mean, that's crazy that he could do the math that quick.
I mean, it's 93 minus 50. Yeah, I know. Them's his big numbers. That's what I said.
I took my socks off.
I should just take the credit. Thank you. I am a mathematician. I'm a math magician.
You sure are. No, I mean, yeah, at 93 years old, I mean, that's a celebration, right? In her career also.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mickey, any thoughts on Estelle Harris?
I am a little more familiar with the Toy Story version of Estelle Harris.
Okay. Sorry.
I didn't actually realize that till you said it, but I mean, I couldn't name you a single. I don't know if I've ever seen a full episode of Seinfeld. So,
then he wept.
I am fully aware of that. I can hear her voice. I know what she looks like and stuff like that. But no,
I would beat you with a hose right now if I could.
Like I said, we've been over this before. I have this continuous track record of being with people that hate Seinfeld with a passion, so that anytime it's even on TV and I'd have the ability to watch it, someone's like, Seinfeld, they're it, like they hate it.
Have you ever thought that you're with the wrong people?
No, because I've never seen Seinfeld, so I don't know that I'm missing anything or that So I've never. I think I would like it. I remember my mom watching it when I was a kid.
You would.
Yeah. But
you like Curb Your Enthusiasm. I mean, you'll probably like Seinfeld. I mean, gee, okay, all right.
And your mom liked it. I mean, if your mom liked it, it's got to be good,
right?
I mean,
I feel like
she
there's a
likes
joke
me.
coming there somewhere. I'm just waiting.
No, I'm just saying she likes me, and
Mhm.
so she can't be wrong.
Right.
And she is oh so right.
Okay. Well,
Mhm.
rest in peace, Taylor and Estelle. We appreciated your work, and you definitely gave us a lot of entertainment in our life. So we will remember you. And on that note,
Rest in peace, Frank.
Frank.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a guy out there by the name of Frank who probably died.
Sure.
All right.
Is Frank
Very-
the name
very
of that
possible.
joke that you just tried to throw out there? Is that?
Went down
Very
in
good.
flames, like you.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Well, we're going to take a short break here, and we're going to come back and talk all things Batman, and it's possible, we may also, after break, have more worlds colliding. Just have to find out.
Yeah, in case you haven't watched the meteor that's happening, that's headed towards Earth.
No.
It could be.
Nick, this
Could
is the
be.
bit where we come back from the break and his dick's out. He's
Could
done
be.
this so many times.
Special
Could be.
guest.
Never fails. Never
Hey, look
fails.
at that worm.
That's right. Here he is, Twiggy from Buck Rogers again, ladies and gentlemen.
Beep,
Yep.
beep, 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 beep.
It's old one-eyed Fisher back at it. Here he comes.
Fuck, that ain't a
Yep.
fish, that's a tadpole.
That's right. That's right. Could be that, or could be something else. You never know. So
Come back and find
Yep.
out.
that's right. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Convincing Idiots. And we told you it might happen before break. It has happened. More podcast and worlds colliding. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very, very happy to have a very, very special guest and a very, very good friend of mine and a brother of mine, Keith Porter. Now, Keith, we went to high school together, graduated together, and Keith, we do other podcasts that came from Gen X. But this man right here was the start of this entire thing. So Keith's idea was to start a football podcast. Reality football. Started with Keith and Coop. Skinner and I came onto that show. We did that show for 2 football seasons. And just got into it was a video show only. That we got into the podcasting part of it. We kind of refined our skills, and that was the catalyst for Nick, Dean, and I to do this show. Just we had talked about doing a podcast years ago. So,
And Keith, I think I speak for Dean and myself when I say thank you for letting us use your leftovers and have Brian basically do all the legwork on this show for us. So we appreciate
That's
that.
right.
Thank you.
You know, my ex-wife's boyfriend said the same thing to me, so I appreciate that. And it's cool to be the start of something.
Did he also did he also use up all the entertainment?
Absolutely,
on that side, so he brings us
the
nothing.
sloppy seconds of podcasting.
Okay.
It's good to be part of the beginning of something that's not a disease. So thanks for that.
There you go. There you go. Well, welcome, Keith. We're very happy to have you.
Good to be here.
This week, you know, I don't want to say that we brought you under false pretenses, but we're here to discuss the top 5 domesticated animals we'd eat if we were allowed to. So, Keith, what's your top 5?
You mean eat again? Or be specific now, okay? We're poor over here, so.
And tell us why eating the cat would be number 1.
that joke writes itself. I think you get where I'm going. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's leave that one alone. Okay,
Hey,
no
listen,
eating cats.
Keith had plenty of cats over
Thank
the
you,
years.
Fish.
Let's just say that.
Oh, I can imagine.
Thank you,
Plenty.
Fish. Yeah,
Yeah,
Feline
share of
lover.
cats.
that's right. That's right.
I just want to say, guys, thank you for having me on. I am a huge fan of the show. Fisher would tell you I'm a big fan of his humor. I just think he has the most perfect timing. And when I found out he found two other morons just like you, I said, okay. So I listen to the show all the time.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
thank you so much. So, so the second, if time permitting, we're going to talk about favorite Keith stories. Time permitting. Now we may not get there.
Mm-hmm.
We may
How
not
don't
get
we?
there.
I was saying, I kind of want to do that first now because I don't want to run out of time.
Well, we
Screw
promised Batman. We promised Batman, so we're going to start there. Then we'll
Do
try
children
to get
listen
back
to
to
this
Keith.
show?
Just mine. Sometimes.
Oh,
Absolutely.
okay.
When they think they have a
Absolutely.
shot at getting on here, that's about
They're
it.
already ruined then. Okay, we're good.
That's
I want
right.
to hear stories of the Statman and Porterhouse.
Oh, my
There's
God.
there's
I
some
think there's a
stories
comic
out there.
book right there.
Did Fisher
Yeah,
ever
this-
tell you about his birthday?
Oh God, no! I never did tell him that story.
Well, there's been so many. I don't think that he's gotten around to whichever this one would have been. But
Oh Lord.
He'll
Yep.
tell
He's
you that
forgotten
one
most
day.
of them.
Yeah. we'll tell you that one off camera. That's
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but so Keith and I went and saw the Batman together with Skinner, and Nick and Dean just saw it recently. Now, Keith and I has been comic book fans since we were kids. I mean, we grew up with loving superheroes, and Batman was always one of our favorites, and watched the shows and collected the comics and all that over the years. So we're definitely very interested in this topic here. But before we get into that, you guys just saw the movie. Nick, why don't we start with you? So, what are your thoughts on the new Batman movie, sir?
So there was some apprehension on my part, right? I was when they first announced Robert Pattinson, I was not super over the moon. I don't dislike him as an actor necessarily. I understand. I feel like he's maybe been pigeonholed a little bit into the the whole Twilight guy thing. But
Yes.
what I really did not see, and I assumed, I'm like, he's probably going to do a fine job. He's a fine actor. I've seen him in movies that I enjoyed him in. What I did not foresee was how ready I was going to be right off the bat with just considering him at least in suit, one of my favorite portrayals of Batman. I thought Robert Pattinson did an incredible job. I thought all of the characters were very dynamic. Something that my wife brought up to me that she really liked was she said, I like that all the villains none of them they were all believable in a real world sense. They weren't over the top comic booky in outfits like with gimmicks, and the Riddler wasn't wearing a green jumpsuit with the question mark. You know what I mean? It was believable that these people had all these all had these aliases, but they weren't straight out of the comic book page. So it was kind of a realistic take on these characters. I thought the movie was interesting because it's a long movie. What's it, like 2.5 hours? Almost 3 hours. Is it 3 hours?
3 hours and 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So it felt long. It did. It felt like I was in the theater for a long time.
You know how much an old man like me has to pee?
That's why you got to get the big gulp cup, drink one of them beforehand, and then that way you got one empty for the rest of the way through. See? But what I did feel like it felt like it was long, but I didn't mind it. To me, I felt like I was in the theater for a while, but it was almost like when you're binge watching a show you're really liking. You're like, I know I've spent all day like doing this, but I'm not mad at it. It's so good. So I really like the movie. I really have not many critiques about this film at all. I thought it moved well. I thought the plot was intriguing. I thought everybody did a great job on the character. If I had to pick something that I was not as crazy about, I would say that the Robert Pattinson that you see in this movie is not, or at least in the way of Bruce Wayne, is not what you're used to seeing. And they even mentioned that, right? That he's not in the public eye as much. The socialite philanthropist Bruce Wayne that you're used to seeing, you don't see as much in this film. So I had a little trouble seeing him as the Bruce Wayne that I remember. But at the same time, I mean, I just thought he did a great job. But he's supposed to be a younger, brooding Bruce Wayne. He's still dealing with the loss of his parents and stuff like that and how to cope with that. So, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a phenomenal movie.
Good. Dean?
It was good. What about you, Brian? All right.
All right.
No, I loved it. Like Nick, I thought I actually not even lower expectation. I really thought I was going to dislike it. But he fucking sold me. I mean, and what Nick said about him being brooding and not being the Bruce Wayne you got to remember this is year 2.
Right.
He's going to become. I think, if they do more movies, you will see him progress in because he's got to put up at least a facade to the public, or they're going to go, oh, this brooding Batman. Oh, look at this brooding Bruce Wayne that you never see as a recluse. That's a very easy math to do. So I think he's going to go moving forward. He's going to develop this personality. He's going to get out of the funk, so to speak. He's going to get into more of the playboy. I loved the Riddler. I loved the portrayal of him. I think he portrayed what it would be like to be in madness. I mean, because all these villains in these comic books are crazy. They're mad. And I think he portrayed a very realistic, just like Joaquin Phoenix did with the Joker,
Right.
the diving into madness situation mentally. And I think even Batman, the portrayal of Batman and that struggle that he had of could he easily dive into madness? Could he easily cross that line? And I think that's the story of Batman. To me, is that he possibly could. I mean, they touched on it in The Dark Knight Rises when he could easily kill the Joker, and he has that split second where he might, but he realizes that's the difference. That's the line you cross from vigilante into bad guy. So I think the portrayal for both of them touting that line, because look at the Riddler. He legitimately thought the Batman was on his side. He thought this was going to end with him coming and breaking him out, because that line is so thin in what they do. So yes, the portrayal in that sense I thought was magnificent. Again, the only thing, my critique in it, is there was a 2 or 3 minute motorcycle chase ride that did not fucking need to be there. They could have showed them pulling off and then going their separate ways. We get it. They're not going. We didn't need them chasing each other like high school kids on bicycles. That was a silly 3 minutes that didn't need to be there. You could have made the movie a straight 3 hours and out.
Yeah, at that rate, it's like you're already here 3 hours. But yeah, you get your point.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Keith, we did a whole mini-sode for it with the Came From GenX on Batman. So I know some of your thoughts already, but why don't you please share with our listeners here, please, sir?
Okay. Well, after Nick spoke, I was like, well, I'll just log off because you guys don't know
Right.
me. There were a lot of my exact same thoughts. But let me give you an interesting story. First of all, I love a movie that makes me think after I see it. And the more I think, the more I appreciate it, and I go back and see it. I love when that happens. That means that the movie wasn't thin; it was thick. And as Fish will tell you, when I left that movie, well, let me back up. Before, like Nick, when they said Robert Pattinson, I went, "You got to be freaking kidding me!"
Yeah.
My little niece is bigger than this guy, and so I was upset about that. But I remember when they said that Ben Affleck was going to be Batman, and everybody, including myself, was like, "No!" We had Daredevil in our mind. And I thought he knocked it out the park. He was my favorite Bruce Wayne. For sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, I went to this movie with all the other Batmans in my mind, which I shouldn't have done that. When it was over, I was kind of like, I don't know if I like this or not. And Fish and Skinner, they loved it. I got home and my sister was asking me about it, and I kept saying, well, they did have this and they didn't have that. And the more I kept saying, I went, wait a minute, that was the whole point. So just like you were saying, Nick, the Penguin wasn't to walk around in a freaking tuxedo, and making silly noises. It was like a guy. He wasn't even a big mob guy. He was middle management, and he had a pointy nose, had a nickname, the Penguin. And it was like, wow, this is like realistic. Like if this happened, this is what it would be like. Yeah. Batman didn't have this unbelievable car. that could go up the wall and all this stuff.
He
It
had
was like
combat boots.
he took a Pinto and put a souped-up engine in it. You know what I'm saying? Or a Mercury Bobcat or something. So I said, man, this was very, very realistic. But here's the thing that I didn't like about it. I thought the Bruce Wayne was weak, but you made a great point, Dean. This is in his early stages. So I think this movie left time to grow, which is going to be awesome. The more I think about it, the more brilliant I think this movie actually was. I mentioned something you guys didn't mention. I thought Zoe Kravitz was excellent in her role as Catwoman. It was very realistic. She didn't have a cat suit and cat ears. It wasn't meowing. But I thought that was a very, very good portrayal, too. But I thought the movie was dark. I thought he was very brooding. He was very violent. And if you look at the early Batman Dark Knight Detective comics, that's how he was. And he was even a small guy in the early comics, too, as well. So this is a movie that I left it going, I don't know. And every day I'm like, man, this was brilliant. This was genius. I can't wait to go see it again.
Yeah.
And another beauty of it was that he was an actual detective in this movie.
Yeah,
right.
Fisher brought that up, and that is what's lost in every other Batman movie.
Yeah,
that's what's lost in every other movie. And
he used brilliant things. Sorry,
I was just gonna say, in the comics, he did real brilliant things. Like I remember, Robin was following a criminal named Ted Tate, and he couldn't have time to leave Batman a message, so he sent him a penny in an envelope. And Batman took the penny out, and instead of just throwing it away, he looked under the microscope, and it where it says 1 cent United States, he had crossed off certain letters, so it said on scent of Ted Tate. Little genius detective things like that.
Yeah.
So he was a detective foremost.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, you guys, really said most of my thoughts as well. Like, and as we all know, Batman got his start in Detective Comics way back in the day, and as you guys said, it was really nice to see him go back to the roots of that character. Michael Keaton did a little bit of it in in the first Batman movie to solve the Joker's serum and stuff like that, but he really was, and I like the fact that they brought him into the police force, the young Commissioner Gordon, not the commissioner yet, which is cool too.
Yeah.
And
See, Lieutenant Gordon,
yeah. And again, it just felt like it was a realistic type situation. That's well, actually,
where's Joel Schumacher when you need him?
And a bigger cod piece.
Well, what a far cry from that movie. You know what I'm saying? Look at this, there's a very good comic series, Batman Year One, out there, and they actually made a animated movie based on that as well, and it had that same type of feel. It was Batman Year One, and it's just, I don't know. Like I said, the detective work, the realism. It felt like a guy that was out there doing that for real. If you had a guy struggling with his mental issues like that out there, it was simply a guy with, like you said, the combat boots, Kevlar, cape and cowl. He's out there, and the
damn symbol was useful.
That's right.
That was cool.
That was cool.
He didn't have the batarangs. He didn't have all the utility belt shit. He didn't have the Batcopter, all the big stuff in some of the other Christian Bale movies and otherwise.
As they move forward, that will advance too.
That's what I was going to say. The reason why most sequels suck is because they have nowhere to go with them.
Right.
Yeah.
And this has left room to really go different places and bring it into the full fold. So that's really brilliant on their part, whoever made the movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, now did you all see the cut Joker scene since the movie?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah.
What do you think? What is your opinions here? So, were you glad that they cut that out of the movie, or would you like to have them had that scene in the movie? Nick, what do you think?
I am glad it was not in there because you're obviously, this is, the Joker is going to be brought in. You already know that at the end of this, this movie that he's going to be entered. I like that they kept the main focus on the Riddler, though. That they're not. I mean, the Joker, the Joker is obviously
he was out of focus.
Exactly. Well, the Joker is obviously the arch nemesis of Batman. In any new rendition of Batman you're going to do, at some point the Joker is going to be there. But I feel like we've had a lot of Jokers here recently in a small cluster. And, yes, we all love the Joker. We appreciate what the Joker is to Batman. But I like that this was not about the Joker. This was, the main issue here was the Riddler, and that they kept it at that. That being said, watching that cutscene, it made me really excited to see this version of the Joker because I thought it looked really awesome. It looked, again, very just demented and psychotic and creepy and all the things that you really want the Joker to be, or at least that I do for that matter. And to see that version of it, I'm looking forward to it. But I'm glad that they kind of kept him in the background. His presence is known. He's there at the end. You're aware that that's who he's talking to. There's little hints throughout the movie, but he's not the focal point. It's about the Riddler. So I like that they did it that way.
It'll be interesting to see if he has the scarring, the disfigurement. Did that happen in jail after he was caught? Was it before? Is it acid? Did he do it himself? I think it's more sadistic if he did it himself.
Sure.
Like if they take away the idea of him being dropped in acid and
He has
make
a disorder.
Yeah.
The director already talked about that. He has some type of disorder. He mentioned that already. I can't remember what it was.
Where he cuts himself and shit?
No. He had something to where it caused his skin to disfigure or something like that, if I read correctly.
Okay.
Yeah. But you
you're
also
not very good at it, but
yeah, you didn't fucking read it anything. How about that? So, but you also noticed that he had his hair kind of falling out, or he cut his green hair, or they cut his green hair in the hospital, so it was just sort of patchy there. You sort of got the glimpse of the green hair.
I agree with Nick. He looked so psychotic. I don't know if anybody will out Joker Heath Ledger's performance.
Yeah.
But as far as the Joker physically, that was amazing. I was going to say I like the way they did it in the movies. But what's the point if you're going to release the scene? It was a great tease, but now we already seen it. So what's the difference?
Right.
Nice shirt, by the way, Fish.
Thank you.
All right, I have a question, guys. Would it have been enjoyable to not have that Joker, but to have Joaquin Phoenix some way, somehow be the Joker in that universe? To have those two universes.
That's what I was initially thinking that they were laying out with this. And when they first showed the original trailer of the Batman, it kind of had that, because it was so gritty and grimy, it had that that 80s maybe feel to it, that it could take place in the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. And I agree with what Keith just said about, like, to me, Heath Ledger is the top of the mountain for the Joker. But I was, the same way I thought about Robert Pattinson, I was equally impressed when I watched the Joker, that I was like, Joaquin Phoenix Joker comes pretty damn close. It's a different type, it's a different style, but it's still fucking weird, and it's just uneasy.
That Joker wouldn't have fit in that movie.
No?
You need a real psychopath.
Okay.
Like, just over
but that's the thing is if it would have been years later, who knows what that Joaquin Phoenix Joker would have dived into. You know what I mean?
Well, because
he could have gone completely insane.
Yeah, in the Joker movie, Bruce Wayne, he interacts, but he's just a little boy. So that, I mean, that's true. It's not to say that couldn't have been that.
You see the physical ailments in his face.
Yeah.
That's why I thought that was like, okay, because this is a sick dude, man. I mean, imagine is not into bathing a lot, or skin cleanser. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't
feel him.
He doesn't have Proactive, something like that. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and the Joaquin Phoenix thing, I don't know. To me, that was his own thing. That's good. And it's like, and they never purposely made it clear that he is the actual Joker. He's a guy that they never called him the Joker. They made fun of him but he never. He could be a guy that's like a Joker, but they never really identified him as the Joker in that movie. So that could be a fine standalone movie. It's a very interesting story. They could take that.
He called himself the Joker on the show, on that.
He has to be. He has to be introduced as Joker.
Somebody made fun of him as Joker, but again, they never made it clear that he is the Joker. Go back and you can read. The director, but that was purposeful.
Did any of you see?
You can interpret it. You can interpret it in your own way. Go ahead.
Did any of you see? Did you ever watch Gotham? TV show Gotham.
I fell off over a couple seasons.
Well, there was a character Jerome that was introduced.
Is that the
And
kid from Shameless?
Yes.
That plays Ian on Shameless, the redheaded
Yes.
kid? Okay.
And he did the Joker, but they
Yeah,
never
I
said
did
the
see that.
Joker. And this kid, fuck, I wish they could have gone farther with him because he was one of the best portrayals.
Yeah, I saw that much of it. He was good.
But they never, again, they like Joaquin Phoenix, they never particularly said he was the Joker. I think they sort of implied that he was going to be, like, there were so many people that like revered this guy, and the idea was, I think the idea was going to be that the Joker later would see him and emulate him. So the Joker would be, Jerome would be like he would have looked up to Jerome. The Joker would have.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I disagree with Nick about wanting Joaquin Phoenix to be part of that. I think after Heath Ledger's performance, there's just like everybody wants a shot at that role to try to outdo what he did, and I think we're just going to get some great performances out of it. We're going to get some misses, but we're going to get some great performances out of it, and I think everybody sees what he did with that and wants this. Man, I want to dive into this role. I don't know if you guys know, but so weird. We talked about this tonight in my music class. My kids were asking me about that. But, you know, he locked himself in a hotel for months, you know, and did lots of drugs and everything to dive into this role. Kind of made him mad a little bit. And I think a lot of actors they like that stuff. They like to get so deep into a role that they lose themselves, you know. But
and there's a bit of an allure to it after, you know, because you hear those stories and they go, you know, it's kind of it's almost like a hype around it because all these things happen. Like, oh, they're like,
how deep they are.
Right. Or like the role killed him or whatever.
Try it. Whatever. Go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to play the Joker.
That's what happened to Pee Wee Herman. Paul Rubens just
call me a broker.
Yeah, Dean is so into this role here that he's actually believes he's entertaining. So he's really been. Yep.
Well,
Brian,
when you came out to my show, what's the first thing I said about him, Fisher? You remember?
He's just like he is on the show.
I said I like you because what you see is what you get.
Yep. That's right.
Shitty jokes. That wasn't a compliment. Shitty jokes here.
Relax.
This is not a character. This is the real deal.
Yeah, that
I'm a shitty person.
Of a compliment. We're giving you help.
All right, so
if it was, I would refuse it.
All right, so we're talking about. It's actually a good segue into. So we all love the movie. We all agree the Batman's. You know, highly recommended. Go check it out if you're a Batman fan. You're going to love it. Like Keith said, you can't go in there thinking you're going to see the next version of the Christian Bale trilogy. It's not. That's not what this
Thank
is.
God.
It's gritty. It's grimy. It's great. It's and very realistic and all that stuff. And I agree with you guys. Putting the Joker scene into it would have taken away from the focus of the Riddler. That was his movie. That was Paul Dano's movie. And the Penguin's movie, so it's, there's plenty of time for the Joker in future movies. But anyway,
one last quick thing, Fish.
Please go ahead.
It's also a product of the Avengers. We've gone to outer space and aliens and gods and all this other stuff. This brought you back down to Earth.
Sure.
Yes. Literally. Yeah.
As a practical situation, situation that could happen. Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's keep it going. We'll talk about. So let's go back. Let's keep with the villain theme. So all the Batman movies.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's more there's got to be, right. There's more Batman superhero movies than any other.
It
comic
depends.
book.
It depends on how you look at it.
Okay. Well, it's
are you considering the Justice League movies Batman movies?
Sure. Why not? Whatever.
Okay. Because if not, that takes 3 away right there.
Okay, then I am not considering. I'm kidding with you. So
I was gonna say, let me adjust my fucking list here. Jesus.
No, so just thinking
calls me 3 seconds before the show, tells me to do this, and then
of all so thinking of the Batman movies, we're kind of sticking with movies. Okay, all the various villains and actors and actresses who portrayed a Batman villain. I'm interested to know like your top, so just your favorites.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a top 5, great. If you have a top 3, great. Top 2, great. who are your favorite Batman actor villains of all time in the Batman movies? So, Nick, why don't you go ahead and start? What do you got?
For my villains, my Mount Rushmore of Batman
Please.
villain portrayals. Okay, so right off the top, we've already spoken about them. I'm not going to go into too much
We
detail.
should just do number two and above. We all
Number
know
two, two and up. Paul Dano, the Riddler, is in my top 5. I
Yes.
thought that for all the reasons we just mentioned, Keith spoke to it, Dean spoke to it. We've said how fantastic he was. Brian, you said how that this was his standalone movie, as the villain, and I like that. I thought he did a great job. Very sadistic, wigged out, just mad at everything, mad at the world. Loved it. One of my favorites. If anything, I wish this character had been in his movie a little bit more prominently, but I always enjoyed the character of the Scarecrow. And is it Cillian Murphy? Is that how you pronounce his first name?
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy. Like him as an actor a lot. That the Batman Begins movie is not one of my favorite Batman movies, but that character brought to life, and the way that with the things that he was using to distort people's minds and use the Scarecrow as a scare tactic and things like that, I thought was really cool and interesting. So for me personally, I don't think that's necessarily one of the greatest ones across the board, but for me, I always really liked that one.
By the way, he was in the running for Bruce Wayne. So when Christian Bale, he had
is
tried
that
out.
right?
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they liked
Interesting.
him, but they didn't like him as Bruce Wayne. So that's what helped get him that role as the Scarecrow. They wanted him involved in the project. So
I get that. He's a little weird looking, I think, to be Bruce Wayne.
That's actually how Nick and I were hired for this podcast.
Yeah.
I actually applied for the role to be the douchey younger guy. And
but you weren't
Brian's
pretty
like,
enough?
No, right. He goes, "You're too gritty and too handsome, ruggedly handsome. We're going to need you to be the asshole, character." I'm like, fine.
On
So I
our
put
show,
down
I
my
applied
kitten
for the
and
role
puppy.
of the black guy, and I got it. Nailed it.
Nailed it. Got it.
Yep.
Yeah, the handsome black dude.
Tell
Perfect
everybody else
portrayal.
out there to go home. We found it.
Go ahead, Nick.
Well, on next on my list, I have Joaquin Phoenix. Again, we talked about him. There's been many people who played the Joker. Second to Heath Ledger, I would say he was my favorite Joker, and I enjoyed that version of him, whether or not he was supposed to be the Joker or not. I'm going to just skip right to, obviously, Keith just said it. I'm going to put him up there. He's number 1, but Heath Ledger is the Joker is number 1. But also to round out my 5, I'm going to take a Joel Schumacher villain here and go with Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. I liked the fact that he was the version from the comic books. It was like you tore the guy right off. I liked how ridiculous he was. He had this zoot suit on, and one side, was everything dramatic and charred, and then he had the 2 girls that matched. Drew Barrymore, was the angel, and he had the 2 girls that matched each side of his personality. And he was straight out of a cartoon or a comic book. And I love Tommy Lee Jones as an actor, and I thought it was for what that movie was. I thought he fit it really well, and he was definitely my favorite of the villains to have come out of those.
That's fair.
Okay, I can see that.
All right, Dean, what do you got?
Okay. Like I said, I'm kind of did a little work right here because I misunderstood your text, and I thought we were just going our top villains, not the actors. Nick, like a big trash bag full of dicks. Eat them.
Yeah. Well, I could do that and maybe buy you a little
Giant.
time while you refigure what the hell you were supposed to do in the first damn
No,
place.
I get it.
But now
I'm
we're
done.
here on the show. You're trying to rework your list. So go ahead. Please go ahead.
All right.
Wheel up the trash barrel of dicks, and I'll get to work while you go ahead and start working on your list.
Your mom's a great kisser.
I
Okay.
need to get a belt.
What's that?
I need to get a belt.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you
so
have
you
read Nick's diary. Okay.
This is turning into a way different show.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
We are both on board.
Hey,
I'm here for it.
Call me Mr. Man. Okay. All right.
Okay, so my top villains and actors. I'm going with Jerome, who was portrayed by Cameron Monaghan. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Sounds like you made that up right now.
No, it's not. It's a kid
Monaghan?
from It's a kid from Shameless.
Okay.
There's a G in there
It's
that
changing
probably
every
shouldn't.
time. It's not every
Right.
Jerome? You talking about
Yes.
the Joker guy?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
He was like the
Okay.
precursor to the Joker.
Okay.
My other one is the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix.
Mhm.
For all of the reasons that Nick said. I mean, it was realistic. It was gritty. I appreciated the performance, which is very rare because I really don't like Joaquin Phoenix. I'm also going to go with Paul Dano. I love that whole psycho, crazy, like the tics that he gave the character. Kind of just drives it home. They're very subtle, but. And then I'm going to go with the Penguin. And in this Penguin will be portrayed by Burgess Meredith.
Boy.
It's just fun to watch. He
was fun in that role. Yeah.
And then
if you like that version of the Penguin, he is the king of that. That is very true. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to go once again. And the reason I started this, Nicholas, saying that I misunderstood is because my fifth is not. I don't have an actor for my fifth. The fifth villain in my Mount Rushmore is Gotham itself. It's been portrayed in many different ways and many different styles, but the town itself is what creates the villains. Each movie will tell you that it is born.
They are a product of their environment.
Exactly. So in turn, Gotham is my fifth villain.
Interesting. How deep, Dean?
Yeah. That is interesting because that is definitely something
that's good. That's a good answer.
That is something that drives Batman. He is obsessed with making Gotham a peaceful place for good citizens and he's convinced, obviously, as we all know, that there's more good people than bad people, and that theme rides definitely through the Christian Bale movies for sure. So without that passion from Batman to make the city a
Keith,
great place to be. Yeah, anyway, so that's it. Keith, what do you got? Go ahead. What's your thoughts on Gotham?
My number one villain is Batman himself. He's his own worst enemy.
I like
trying
that.
to be deep like Dean, that's all.
Damn.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. He out-deeped you.
He did. I like it.
All right.
Yep.
But, that is a good point, though, if you think about it. Let's see. We know who number one is. It goes without saying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why some people don't like this character. You want to talk about a realistic portrayal of a villain? I love Tom
Mr.
Hardy's
Freeze.
Bane.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
No, Tom Hardy is Bane. I thought the voice, everything was just awesome. I love that character in that movie. I'm a huge fan of Lee Merriweather in the old campy versions of Batman. I thought she brought sexy, especially like talking about the late 60s. I just thought she was total sexy with the purr and all that stuff. And also, I liked Liam Neeson. I'm a huge Liam Neeson fan as Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, he was good. And if I had to pick one more, I'm going to say a tie between Anne Hathaway's version of Catwoman and Zoe Kravitz.
Okay. Yeah.
And honorable mention too, man. I love what's his name is Scarecrow. I lost his name already.
Oh, Cillian Murphy.
Cillian, yeah. I'm a huge fan of a show on Netflix called Peaky Blinders. If you haven't seen it, phenomenal. He's great in that. So I like his portrayal of the Scarecrow. So those are mine.
That's very good.
Brian, before you go, could I jump in one time? Just I know I rarely interrupt, but
no.
I have an honorable mention that I wrote down earlier that I want to get to. I want to go Harvey Dent, played by Billy D. Williams, just because it's motherfucking Billy D. Williams.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brian.
It's a shame I never got to develop that character.
What are you doing here?
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
Which they did actually in the comic book. We talked about this probably. There's a comic book series, Batman '89, that came out last year. And it carries on the story of that timeline of the Batman, and you actually get to see Billy D. Williams as the actual Two-Face
so cool.
in the comics. So you can check that out. Of course, obviously a lot of overlap here. At number 5, I got Paul Dano as the Riddler. all the things you guys just mentioned. Very believable, psychopath. I love the riddles. Just the whole thing was terrific. I also have Tom Hardy as Bane. I thought it was definitely a more realistic take on that character. And just, I like the whole terrorist thing that he was. It was just a scary guy. Every scene he was in, he was frightening with the mask, the voice, the look, the coat. And he was definitely in control of all that chaos in Gotham City
And
at that
definitely
time.
better
So I
accent
really liked
than
that.
in Venom.
Yes, far cry from that. I also have Liam Neeson, Keith, number 3. So Ra's al Ghul. I thought he was, it's people forget about him because that Batman Begins, that was, it was a number of years ago now, but he was a terrific actor anyway, but he was a terrific villain. The training of, and you go back and think about that. He trained Batman in the martial arts and the sword play and all that, and he was definitely
And it took a train to kill him.
Yeah. Keith, you're on mute, bud.
Forget it.
Good.
He taught him the theatrics
Yes.
of deception and fighting too. If you remember in the first one, he actually wore the gauntlet that had the Batman spikes out of them. That's where Batman
that's
got
right.
that from.
That's right. And he helped him overcome his fear. I mean, he overcome his fear of bats to take on that persona. He basically purposely created his own arch nemesis. Pretty interesting. And the character in the comics is very, very cool as well. And I liked his appearance in the Dark Knight Rises as well, when he kind of appeared in that spirit form or whatever, and it helped motivate him to get out of the pit. Number 2, I got 2 Jokers in a row here, but not 2 you're thinking of. Joaquin Phoenix definitely is an honorable mention for me. I didn't put him in this because it's not quite a full-blown Batman movie. So in my mind, it's a Batman universe. But these are all, I kind of stuck with my mind with guys who fought Batman in the movie. That's why I didn't have Joaquin Phoenix in my
Would you have counted if he would
personal
have kicked
top
the little
5.
kid in his face?
Yeah, I would have counted.
He did grab his face, did he not?
He did.
Like grabbed his face through the
But he didn't fight him.
railing there. It's
He
true.
didn't fight him. I have Jack Nicholson as the Joker, number 2. So just a different version. And
That was great.
In that era,
At that time,
that is, as Keith knows, it was
I thought about
1989. That was like the biggest thing at the time.
huge.
And it was Batman everywhere, Batmania. Prince did the fucking soundtrack of that movie, for Christ's sake. It was a
Nicholson was
huge
the biggest
movie.
actor in the world back then.
Yes, absolutely. And
I mean, it
and we
had
talked
Robert
about this.
Wool in it. Come on.
Sure. But no, it's just a great movie. If that, and we've talked about this in prior episodes, if that movie would have failed big time, it might have hurt other projects getting started with other. So that, so I thought he was great in that role. Obviously more comic, but just kind of a combination of the comic book craziness and the dark Killing Joke type version Joker. Great,
Because back
just a
then,
great
all you
actor,
had
great
was,
version.
I mean, you went from Richard Donner's Superman, or you had the campy TV shows of like
Cesar Romero as the Joker. Yeah, Cesar
Right.
Romero's Joker.
The
That's
cool
all
thing
you
about
had to
that
compare it
portrayal,
to.
Fish, was you got to see the Joker before he became the Joker.
Yes, that was very
Right.
interesting.
That was
Yes,
the cool thing. He's a gangster,
Yeah.
and you saw
Yes.
him go from that to total just bat crazy. So that was kind of cool.
very, very good. And number 1, of course, Heath Ledger as the Joker. It's just you can't touch him in that role. Just absolutely fantastic. He won an Oscar for crying out loud. So that's what I
Would
got.
he have won the Oscar if he didn't die?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Too good.
Yeah, that role
I
was
think-
strong.
And there's even, I think I told
I
you
mean,
guys.
I agree with you. I just wanted,
Yeah,
Put it
I
out
think
there.
I told you guys about that. It's like basically the history of film. It's just called Movies on HBO Max. It's a series, and when they get to that stuff, they talk about that was the first time really that someone had taken a role in a superhero movie to that dramatic level, that believable dramatic. And they're like, before that, you had the Iron Man movies and they're out and stuff, but you had a lot of different superheroes and villains that were still very straight from a comic book, and there's nothing wrong with that, to being fantastical and imaginative, but this was something that was the first time that someone took it there, and it felt that real. It felt like this person could exist in the real world and wreak havoc. So it was kind of just taking it to that dramatic level. So I think absolutely he would have won it either way.
Yeah, he did some terrifying stuff in that movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of the scenes, like when the I forget the criminal mind played by anyway, when they say, "Hey, we got the Joker's body," and the Joker's in a trash bag, but he's alive. And
Yeah.
when they, there's like 3 of the bad guys left, and he goes, "Hey, we're a small group, but there's room for expansion, so we're gonna have tryouts." You don't even
It breaks
one.
breaks
one
the
broken
queue in half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically saying, 3 friends, you're gonna have to kill each other
Yeah.
to survive. That was they kind of glossed that scene over, but that was really horrific when you think about it. You know.
Yeah.
And look at him just as an actor himself, what he went through, what he put himself through. I mean, if you look at it, he had to fucking act with Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
What if somebody threw us down a cue stick and said there can only be one of you left?
Well, Dean would be the one bent over the pool table without being asked, so we'd have to.
This is true.
Yeah. Don't you have to break it in?
out first.
Yeah, right.
That's right. They
Oh
don't have
no,
to break
I'm a
the queue in half.
popsicle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm a fudsicle. Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of Batman actors, let's go into that there. So, who are your top 5, if you want, but your top actors who played the role of Batman himself? So, Nick, we'll go back to you.
You want me to start? Okay.
Yep.
For me,
Brian does.
my favorite as a kid, my favorite version of Batman, both in and out of the suit as Bruce Wayne and Batman, was Val Kilmer in these original 4 movies. Loved Val Kilmer. Thought he did both roles justice. Number 2, I shouldn't number them. They're not in really any particular order. Ben Affleck. Okay, so Ben Affleck to me was a great version of Batman and Bruce Wayne. He just had the misfortune in being Batman in terrible movies. He, to me, was the anti-Christian Bale. Christian Bale had the pleasure of being Batman in phenomenal movies, for the most part. But he was not one of my favorites. So I really liked Ben Affleck as Batman. I thought he was great as the older, grizzled version of Batman. Certainly looks the part of a Bruce Wayne. He's a handsome gentleman, beefed up for the role. He looked good as Batman, all that stuff. I will also throw in Michael Keaton as Batman. To many of us, he is the original Batman, at least in film and movie form. As you mentioned in the original Batman movie with the Joker, and also in Batman Returns. Once again, just both in and out. The gave you a good balance of both Bruce Wayne and Batman. I am also going to throw Robert Pattinson in here. Robert Pattinson has immediately made his way into my top 5. What exact order, I don't know, but I really loved Robert Pattinson as Batman, especially. He kicked ass. Like, he's everything you want Batman to be. That guy on the street, just take no shit. Like I said, I like that he was younger, brooding, all that stuff, but he really kicked ass. Every scene he was in, he's just striking the fear in the heart of whoever he's chasing down. Doesn't matter if it's a common criminal on the street or one of these, big crime lords. Just thought he was incredible in the role. I was really impressed. And then I'm going to give my 5th and final spot. It's going to be the legacy pick to Adam West, just because Adam West, to so many, really is the original live action Batman. And, in whether it's... whether it's a stereotypical way of the old-timey Batman or whatever, but it's Adam West is the Batman voice, is the Batman cadence in which he speaks that a lot of people think of that old-school original Batman. So Adam West is going to round out my top 5.
Excellent.
Batman. Yes.
Good stuff.
Excellent. All right.
Who's up?
All right. Keith, why don't we go to you this time, sir? You ready?
Okay. Well, geez, this is going to be a very familiar list because my number 5, I was going to say Adam West as well. It was a campy show, but he gave himself to that role. I mean, he did some things that a lot of actors wouldn't do. I mean, you think of the dance scenes, with King Tut and all that.
Batusi. Batusi. That was literally what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a campy show, but man, at that
Or when he was on the surfboard.
Yeah. And the shark repellent.
Yep.
That bat
shark repellent.
That belt had more crap in it, man. I tell you. Yeah, more like a bat backpack. But I love that. To me, as a little kid, there was nothing better on television, and it was our first time seeing Batman, himself. So I got to put him at number 5. At number 4, I got Christian Bale. The reason why I got him at 4, the voice irritated me, but I thought he was pretty cool. I liked his Bruce Wayne for the most part.
I liked him as Bruce Wayne. Yeah.
So I'll give him at number 4. Number 3 definitely has to go to. Boy, this is gonna be tough. I got to go with Michael Keaton. He just brought coolness to that role.
Yeah,
he was just so freaking cool in that role. I don't know any other way to put it. That Batman was a big deal back then. They went all out. They had Prince do the music to it. They brought in Jack Nicholson, like we were saying. He was the biggest actor in the world back then. You brought in one of the ultimate heartthrobs, to play the love interest, and even his Alfred.
Yep.
That was huge. So I thought he was really good. And then my number 2 is got to go to Robert Pattinson because it was just so true and real to who Batman really was. It wasn't Batman; it was the Dark Knight. And I just thought the whole detective thing, the anger, the mental issues, I thought that was so real. And number 1 to me, I was going to scream when I found out this guy was playing Batman. But Ben Affleck to me was the perfect Batman. I love the build that was on him. Looking at, I love the outfit he had. It was perfect. Yeah. I just love some of the lines he had. And the way he fought was unbelievable. It was just great fight scenes, the best Batman fight scenes I've ever seen. Next to Pattinson, because those are very realistic. But his Bruce Wayne is what really got me. Because it was 2020. Well, it's 2022 now, but when that came out, it was modern Bruce Wayne. The car was unbelievable. I love when the Flash said, "What's your superpower again?" He goes, "I'm rich." I thought that was just awesome. And you saw the money, you saw the jet, you saw the layout, the penthouse, the Batmobile. He was building his own airplane. You saw the rich.
At the end of the movie, when Clark asks him, "How did you get the house back?" "I bought the bank."
Bought the bank. Yeah. I mean, that's just awesome. So
that's a bold fucking move.
I disagree. I love those movies. I like Justice League. First time I saw Batman versus Superman, I hated it. I watched it again. So wait a minute, this is really, really cool. So I just really dug his portrayal. He's my favorite. I did like Val Kilmer the way he looked in the Batman suit. So
Yep. Okay. Dean?
Okay, I'm gonna, again, very familiar list. I'm sensing a trend here that all of us might be off by 1. So I will run through this. I have number 1. Well, again, not in no particular order. Michael Keaton. He's the original OG for our generation. He's the first Dark Knight. Because at my number 2, you had Adam West, who was the original. You saw him in action for the first time. You saw him as a human form in the first time.
He had the best voice too.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's a reason they chose him the mayor of Quahog.
Yeah,
that's right. That's true.
Right.
With a voice like that, you can't go wrong.
Right. And then I'm gonna go Robert Pattinson. I'm as surprised as anybody that I'm choosing him on my list, but the dude was a badass. I'm looking forward to what Bruce Wayne does and looks like in this form, but Batman was a badass. Now I'm going to go Ben Affleck. Again, because of, yes, who doesn't love to fight for Martha? It's a wonderful thing. But no, he was a great Bruce Wayne.
He kicked Superman's butt.
He did.
That showed how awesome Batman really is. People don't realize
it took the Batsuit version of the Hulkbuster, but
listen, if he gets time, he's like Bill Belichick. Just give me time.
Sure.
Go over you.
I will figure it
and
out.
he can beat anybody.
Yep.
That's why I love his portrayal.
Yep,
that's true. And then actually, my number 5 is different than yours two's. I am going with Will Arnett.
Okay,
Oh,
Lego
Lego.
Batman action. There you go.
Lego Batman.
Yeah, okay, all
I
right.
love
I
his
can get down
portrayal,
with
like
that.
the voice. If a lot of people, when they say, who's been doing Batman? Oh, how's the voice going to be? This guy's voice is too gruff. This guy's voice sounded too whatever. Will Arnett's voice portrayal as Batman was fun. It was gritty. I enjoy him as a Batman.
It's the voice that everybody puts on when they do Batman. It's Will
Exactly.
Arnett Batman voice. That's the one.
Right.
It's Lego Batman.
So my number 5 is Will Arnett.
Nice. All right. Respect. That's good.
So far, our lists are like Mexican food. Just pretty much all the same, just mix it
Same
up
shit.
differently.
Yep. Yep.
Add one ingredient. It's a burrito now. Open it up, it's an enchilada.
All right, Brian. Who's
Yeah.
yours? Who's on your top 5?
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many to choose from, but yeah, we're all so number 5 for me, Adam West. Like I said, Keith, he was the first chance to see Batman on screen, and Adam West was a great Bruce Wayne. He looked the part. You got to see him more in that mentor role.
Yeah.
He was really probably of all the Batman with a Robin in the movies or TV, whatever. Burt Ward and Adam West was the definitive.
Let's take away that
guy
a really
and
rich guy
his-
took in a homeless kid and.
Well,
you'd get 7 to 10 for that now.
That's
but back
what
then
I'm
it was
saying.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I tried it once, and I tell you what, I'm still in court. Yeah.
Bruce and myself are not allowed around parks.
But kids, don't
Adam
forget
West-
too.
Go ahead.
Was there anything
Yep.
cooler than that Batmobile?
No, that was awesome.
That's true. That was
was
the
awesome.
best.
Yeah, guys our age, that would be if you could pick a car you would like to have a replica of, that would be in the running for sure. Based
There's
on what we
only
grew up with.
a handful of them left, the original ones, and the wrestler Jerry the King Lawler bought one of them. He
Really?
owns one of the original Batmobiles from the series.
Yep, very cool.
I'd probably drive the Mirthmobile from Wayne's World if I had my pick. It had
I
a
want
licorice
Wonderboy.
dispenser in the top. I mean, that's
Sure.
yeah.
That's a
There you
valid
go.
point.
That's right. All right, so number 4, I got Ben Affleck. I mean, I'm with you guys. When I first heard him, I saw it. I'm like, but I agree with you. It's just he looked the part. He was a great Bruce Wayne. I like the older Batman as well. That's the shirt I'm kind of wearing here. This is the older. So this is the Ben Affleck Bat, but it's also from the comic The Dark Knight Rises, where they got the idea of the older, grittier Batman who beat Superman with the big suit. That's where they got that storyline, by the way. So Ben Affleck was like you said, the movies he was in were the writing, and not his fault, but from an acting portrayal of the role Batman. Would like to see him do more. I am happy to see him and Michael Keaton in the next Flash movie come back and reprise those roles. I think it's interesting. I got Pattinson on my list too, number 3. I mean, it just, like you say, the realism. You really felt a guy suffering and still feeling the pain of losing his parents recently and trying to figure out to balance this life. And like you said, he doesn't want to be Bruce Wayne. He only wants to be Batman in the early stages. The detective work, the interaction with him and the Riddler and all that was just super, super good. Christian Bale, I have number 2. Like I said, the main thing is just it was mainly of the body of the writing and the actors around him. But of all the Bruce Waynes, Christian Bale probably the best Bruce Wayne in my opinion, because he was.
Did Bruce Wayne have a lisp?
No, wait a minute. He clearly was playing up on purpose. He was playing a character of Bruce Wayne out in public. He knew what he was doing.
Suck
Kind
it
of
up.
a buffoon.
Was that the Joker?
Exactly right.
Didn't
He
care
played
about
it
nothing.
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
He played it up to where he had multiple women, the fancy entrances, the
That's a
fancy
good point.
cars, the fancy clothes, and he used his power to maintain his business and to help others. At the end of the day, he did help. He wasn't helping out charities and
Yeah, he was a philanthropist known in the
thank you.
socialite in Gotham. Yeah.
right. So
Did you say he was filleting in Gotham?
might have been. You never know. The Michael
You
Keaton.
got that much money, do what you want.
Michael Keaton, as you guys are, Keaton's number 1 for me. He was, like you say, he was the first big screen Batman. He played Bruce Wayne and Batman terrifically. Same type of deal. He had the fun, normal Bruce Wayne, normal guy. I loved his interactions with Alfred in that movie. He was terrific. And then when he became Batman, he definitely took on a different persona. It wasn't over the top. It was just kind of dark and brooding, and he was on a mission. He was going to work. I love that line. I'm going to work.
Yeah.
In that movie. So number one for me, all-time Michael Keaton.
He was
There
a
you
great
go.
Bruce Wayne. He had a very good sense of humor.
Yes.
When he walked in on Wahlberg and I don't know why I can't think of her name.
Kim Basinger.
Yeah, Basinger, and he was like, "Can I have a grant?" And when he realized he had to go, he goes, "Hey, give Knox a grant," and kind of walked
Yeah.
off.
Yep.
Oh,
How many cases of champagne to open? Is like, I don't know, 6. He's like, yeah, 6. Open up 6
Yeah.
cases. He's like, I have all this money. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to make all this work. I'm not sure
Right.
exactly. And yeah, just a regular guy that had a lot of money that was dealing with some issues. And yeah, that was a really cool version.
Kind of
of
like
him.
Nick.
That's right. Just dealing with some
Hey,
issues.
Nick, let's talk, baby.
I
I mean, he does have his own bobblehead. Why don't you pull down and show Keith a bobblehead Nick?
I do.
I mean, how many of us, do any of us regular folk have the bobblehead of themselves?
How cool is that?
Yes, I do. That's
There you
correct.
go.
He played for the Maple Leafs.
That's right. Well, and bobblehead Nick does. Yes. So
That's awesome, dude. That's just cool.
that was a birthday gift from my co-host Dean there a few years ago for my birthday. So yes, bobblehead Nick hasn't been on the show for a while. He appreciates the cameo appearance as always.
He enjoys
He
it.
should be on every episode.
He was for a
Yeah.
while. He had a good little run there. We were asking for his approval on things.
Should be.
Yeah.
Am I the coolest bobblehead, Nick?
Wait, we got to start here. Is Keith the coolest? Yeah,
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
yeah.
You got
You might
bobblehead
want to
Nick's
look into
approval.
some seizure medicine for bobblehead Nick.
All right, we can talk about this.
But
Sorry.
bobblehead Nick and real life Nick, both of their heads go up and down a lot during
That's
their life.
true.
So.
That's true.
That's
That is true.
stimulating.
That's right.
Oh,
That's right. Almost as quickly.
all
right, so
yes.
Almost.
We could talk about this all night, but let's do real quick here as the last topic. I'm starting to see I think I see the bat signal out in the distance here. But
Ooh.
how about movies? Just we could talk about more characters another time here, but just your top
Ooh.
whatever Batman movies of all time. If you want to do your top 5, terrific.
Okay.
Whatever top few you want to name. Go ahead, Dean. Why don't you start this time?
All right. Since we're probably running a little bit close on time, I will not. I mean, we've discussed characters and Batman
Yes.
to understand what we all mean. My top 5, Mount Rushmore. I have 1989's Batman. I have The Batman 2022. I have Batman the movie 1966. I have The Dark Knight Rises 2012. And then the Justice League, the Snyder Cut from 2022.
Oh, Jesus.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's
All right.
mine. Sticking to it.
Okay.
That was like watching 2 of the Batman back to back.
Mm. Okay. All right. Keith, do you have a correct answer besides that one? Or
You son of a.
I'm going to start off number 5 and go with the trilogy, the Christian Bale trilogy. Some of things about him annoy me, but those were just great, fun movies. The first one was really, really good. The second one, Heath Ledger took it to a whole nother level, and then the third one, I think that the Bane character was something exceptional. So I did like those trilogies. And then
so
I'm
you
gonna
built
go with,
you built all one movie. That's one selection
Yeah,
for
that's
you.
one
It's the
thing.
whole
That's
trilogy.
number
Okay,
5.
that's fine.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Number
Mhm.
4, I'm gonna go with the one we just saw.
The
It took me
Batman.
a minute.
Okay.
I want to go see it again. I love it, and I'm not saying that because it's 4 is not bad. I mean, they're just got to get in order here. Then I got to go with I love the Batman versus Superman for number 3, and then the Snyder Cut Justice League for number 2. But number 1 will always be 1989 with Michael Keaton.
Wow. Okay. All right.
So you're
Okay.
right. He did have the correct answer, Brian.
Okay. All right, Nick. Nick, what do you get? Maybe you have the correct answer.
Brian, I will have
Yeah.
no such Justice League or Batman versus Superman movies in my
There you
top
go.
five.
Oh, it's gonna
There
be
you go.
good.
Oh, this
No
is all like
no
Pokemon
disrespect,
shit
but-
and weird anime we don't get.
I have the 1989 Batman, Michael Keaton Joker Batman. I also have Batman Returns. Thought that actually, I watched that with the aid of some jazz cabbage a few months ago, and I'll tell you what,
Okay.
it held up
Okay.
pretty good. It was pretty
Is that
interesting.
The second Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But the Catwoman Penguin, yeah, Danny DeVito, Michelle Pfeiffer.
You know why I hate those movies?
Why is that?
The villains were just too over the top to me. Jim
They were,
Carrey was
they
just
were.
so over the top.
They
I
were,
love
yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones. You mentioned it, but I just thought it was just too much. You know?
Yeah, they
See,
were.
I
They were
didn't-
they were like real life cartoons or like
Yeah, I
comic
thought
book,
that
just real
ruined the
for you,
movies for me.
I didn't understand
Yeah.
Danny DeVito's Penguin. Like, why was he so
It's-
gross? Like, what was coming
Because-
out of him?
So
He had
what
he had
Green
happened?
defor-
stuff,
he had a
and then
deformity.
he was able
yeah.
to be shot a bunch of times and still live.
Yeah.
I didn't understand.
I don't know what that's about. Yeah.
Like, what
But he
was,
had
was he
webbed
superhuman?
No, he had webbed hands and stuff. He was deformed, and his
He was
parents
born
abandoned
deformed.
him.
What I
Okay, but
really
why
don't
was-
understand,
did he have green stuff coming out of his mouth for no reason. What was
probably
that?
from
He was-
living in the
he-
fucking
he was-
sewer his whole
Yeah,
life.
it
Eating
was
fish.
toxic.
Yeah.
Eating raw
Now,
fish. Yeah.
What I
Raised in
didn't
the sewer by
understand-
birds.
What I
Okay.
never understood is when this happens, right? He's born deformed. His parents, they can't have that. Send him down the river, and it goes into a sewer. Why are there penguins in the sewer in Gotham
How
City?
fucking
Penguins don't
cold
live in
is
the
it
damn
under
sewer.
Gotham?
Penguins don't live there. I don't understand. But penguins
And
found him. and
name me
raised
the
him.
last major metropolitan city that took a sewer dweller and made them fucking mayor.
Just go watch that movie sober, and
Sure happened
you
in
may
Cincinnati.
rethink how good it is.
And the
I
last
watched
baby,
this. Go
the
ahead.
last baby that was thrown in the water in the basket, actually set free 5,000 Israelites out of Egypt. So
There you
this
go.
was
There you go.
on that story.
There you go.
There you
There
go.
you have it.
Yep.
There you have it.
Yep.
That was
so
Paul Thomas Anderson,
that was
right?
the-
That we're talking about?
I have
No?
Returns.
Okay, sorry.
I have Batman Returns, which, craziness aside, and penguins raising children in the sewers aside, good movie.
Sure.
Um, I have The Batman as well. The Batman we all just discussed. Fantastic movie. We all loved it. The Dark Knight Rises, also up there for me. It is by far my favorite of the Christian Bale movies, and therefore it is up there for me. And for me, it will always be my childhood favorite. But Batman Forever is one of my favorites. It was the introduction of Robin. Chris O'Donnell is and here's my other thing. Before we get into
Yeah.
different renditions of Robin, there should only ever be, unless Chris O'Donnell is playing Robin, I don't want another Robin. I don't want it. Chris O'Donnell
The
and only Chris
Batmobile
O'Donnell.
had neon lights in it.
I know, it was sick. And the big wing on the back and the lights on the front. Oh, man.
youngsters!
Oh,
you
it was so
youngsters.
good. It was so good. You could pull up to a rave in that thing, and it like fits right in. Look at that. It's great.
Mm.
Sometimes I want to kick your dad in the dick just because that's where you came from.
It's like, I guess whatever Batman you got a Happy Meal from, Keith. Is this your favorite?
That's true. Yeah,
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
That's
Maybe
right.
that's what it is. Oh boy. All right. Well, I've got the individual trilogy, Christian Bale trilogies mixed into my top five. So that's how I did it. So I got the Dark Knight Rises, number 5. It was the weakest of the original trilogy, in my opinion. They kind of fell off the rails a little bit there, but so overall good movie. The Robin character, bringing in Jordan, what's his name?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Yeah,
Joseph
that was
Gordon-Levitt.
I
unnecessary.
would have liked to have
No,
seen that.
that was a great-
him to be Robin.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
great
Or-
addition
or
to
the
movie
Dark
to
little bit
me.
more.
Hate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Batman 89, number 4. Again, just to all the things we talked about, it was the first big movie, Batman. The Batman, number 3. So the Batman, actually, the newer one, at least in my mind, I mean, you asked me in a couple of weeks, it may change, but the newer one has the edge on the original just because of the realism, and I like the early
Sure.
stage Batman. And number 2, Batman Begins. So again, if you haven't watched it lately, the Liam Neeson, Ra's al Ghul, how Batman got his start, the whole
Yeah, good stuff.
him on the trek to get to the month play or whatever to get his training. Just the whole thing. Just it's easy to forget, but go back and rewatch it. Quite good. And number 1, The Dark Knight. Batman with Heath Ledger, just the by far the best of that trilogy, and one of the best Batman, and the portrayal of Two-Face by the actor you mentioned too was a whole other, not enough maybe part of that movie, but he was a terrific
definitely
version of
not
Harvey
enough.
Dent descending into madness.
I
as
want to make
Two-Face.
that
Aaron
my
Eckhart
first
is
one,
his name.
Two-Fish.
What's that?
Movie was just that good.
Yeah, it really was. So that's what I get. All right, guys, it's very, very late. Are there any other favorite Batman characters, portrayals, anything at all you want to call out that, hey, just don't forget about this person in this role, or anything of the kind before we slide down the bat pole to end this episode? Go ahead.
I would just like to, real quick on the way out, as we were discussing in bulk, the Batman. I thought Andy Serkis as Alfred was fantastic.
Absolutely.
Love Andy Serkis in anything,
Really?
but
I
as
hated
Alfred,
that.
did you
Really?
I thought he was
Why?
terrible.
Really?
I don't know. It just,
Is this
seemed
about
like an
Batman
Alfred to
Forever?
me.
Is this about the Batmobile?
No.
Is this about Batman?
We're good on that. I just didn't
Too
buy
much
him as an
crossover?
Alfred
Too
was
much
supposed to be-
crossover?
See, I keep forgetting this is in the year 2. So I really got to understand that. And I
Right.
think I'll
He's going to be an
appreciate all this
older
stuff.
gentleman
It's young
in
Alfred, yeah.
time.
Or young
So I
year
keep
Alfred.
forgetting that. I'm going to go see this movie again for sure.
Yeah.
The best Alfred was Michael Caine, my opinion. Michael Caine,
Michael Caine
Yes.
was pretty good.
Yes.
terrific. Just the whole mentor thing, the love he had for Bruce.
Okay,
Just
I've got one
terrific.
last question.
Yeah.
Right off the top of your head, gentlemen, we'll go one by one. Starting with Brian. Brian, just give me an actor you'd love to see as Batman that hasn't been done.
I'm sitting here going, who the heck is Brian? Oh, you mean Fisher? I've
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. That's
never
right.
called him Brian in my life.
No, that's weird to hear you say that, actually.
Yeah.
Nick, go ahead.
I've got two for you. One of the traditionally ones that I've long since would have loved to see as Batman would be John Hamm. He's a handsome fella.
Oh,
God damn it, that was
I
mine.
think John Hamm.
I like
if
that.
if I'm to give you another handsome man option to go as Bruce Wayne and would kick ass as Batman, Idris Elba.
You just took that out of my mind.
Did I?
Dude, I was just saying that earlier. I was
Interesting.
like, how badass would it be? And I didn't say necessarily Idris Elba, but like with it being 2022, you can do anything. I mean, why not have an African American Batman?
Yeah.
Sure.
First of all, how awesome would Idris Elba look in the scowl?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
thing?
Oh yeah.
He
yeah.
would be fucking badass.
Get out of my
The
mind,
accent-
Nick.
Don't even change the accent. Keep the accent.
Yes,
Yeah, right,
exactly.
everything.
Keep it in
Just Idris
English.
Elba
Keep the whole
as
goddamn
is.
thing.
Yes.
Bruce
I
Wayne.
was
Nobody
going
says
to
Bruce Wayne
name
has to
him.
be white. Yeah.
I was going to name him, but I've been rooting for years for him to play James Bond. I think he
Sure.
would be
Oh,
excellent in
yeah,
that
yeah.
role.
See, now I want him as Batman. Now I can't get that on my head.
Yep.
See,
Don't you
you
sass
you
me.
got into my head and Keith's head.
I'm
Look at
mauling
you,
it.
Nick.
Mauling it.
Damn.
That's
You're
what I
all
do.
about heads.
Nick on
Next
fire.
thing you know, you're both going to be loving that Batman Forever Batmobile, and you won't know why.
Oh, okay. Let's not go there.
If you say George Clooney, though, I'll punch you in the mouth next time I see you.
No. No, I mean, I do like the John Hamm idea. It is interesting. It might be, I don't know. He would be a great Bruce Wayne.
He'd be the best Bruce Wayne.
He definitely has the build for it. So
Actually, you know what would be fun to do a movie. I don't care if it's a spoof or whatever, but and have Will Arnett do a live action Batman for a movie.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Even if he's like old or whatever version. Yeah.
Who's this guy you just said would be a good Batman? I'm going to look him up.
John Hamm.
John Hamm.
Will Arnett.
It's from Mad
Will Arnett
Men.
was the voice, but John Hamm is the one you want to look up.
Oh, yeah.
He was in
like
Mad
Bruce
Men and a
Wayne.
bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. Hey, guys, how about, I can't think of his name. Have you guys seen Titans?
Oh,
From
you're
Game
talking
of
about the-
Thrones. You know what I'm talking about? He played.
from Game of Thrones. You're talking about the guy that played. What did he play on Game of Thrones? Jon Snow.
No, he played.
Peter Dinklage?
No, yeah, he'd be a great Batman.
I want to see him as Batman. now that's my pick. Peter Dinklage.
Ian Glenn. you never get to see him as Batman, but well, you do a couple scenes, but he plays mostly Bruce Wayne. He did a heck of a job, and if you guys haven't seen Titans, you're missing out.
No.
Robin is older.
Oh, on HBO, man.
Yeah,
It's the Teen
yeah,
Titan. Yeah.
He becomes Nightwing. It is a very serious, deep show. It's got Superboy in it, but he plays a really great Bruce Wayne, man. And when Joker kills Jason Todd, he breaks into Arkham and kills the Joker. And the police are after him, and he just leaves. He leaves the mansion to Dick Grayson and everything, and he just goes far away, and he's in some other country about to commit suicide. It is an excellent portrayal of Batman.
Jesus.
Nice.
He totally snaps. And
I got to pick that back up. I've only seen the first couple episodes.
What is this?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's Titans. It is the Teen Titans, but it's just called Titans on HBO.
Man, I'm telling you, you'll
Keith
love
just
it.
sold me on this one.
It's
Keith,
amazing.
Keith, you know what you just did?
What?
You convinced me.
I convinced an idiot.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, I got one for you real quick. How about Jeffrey Dean Morgan? Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
So he's playing Negan in The Walking Dead now, but he would be
Doom
a
is
very
older
good,
Batman. Keep the
Yes.
the gray beard a little bit.
Yeah, I picture him as the distinguished Bruce Wayne type. It has the same type of sense of humor and all that type of stuff, but he also has those violent tendencies as like you say, the older grizzled Batman. It's probably have to bulk up a little bit, but I picture him in that role. How about that?
Fun character choice for some reason. He has herpes.
Weird.
Yeah, it'll work.
Well, yeah.
So,
It's a character choice.
which one of us
There you
don't?
go.
Yeah, valid point there.
Dean's that guy in the boardroom during a movie pitch goes, okay, yeah, love it. But what if he had this weird thing where the character has herpes? It's like, yeah, I know you keep saying that, but stop trying to give everybody herpes.
It wasn't me. Brian's the one who gave us all herpes, so.
Hey,
Should be sharing my glass. Yeah.
Right?
I don't know how you guys celebrate your show.
stop
We
sticking
just
it in
go to
your
the
ass.
movies and dinner.
We paid for the extra spot.
That's right.
Yep.
We're subscribers.
The B spot. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, no,
Well,
Brian, go ahead.
No, great episode here, guys. We can keep talking, but before this episode gets into the length of the Batman movie,
Yes.
I think it's about time to wrap it up here. It's getting late. I'm going to flip over the Shakespeare head and push a button, and we're ready to exit the set here coming up. So, yes. So, Keith, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on, brother.
Thank you so much.
So
Thank
glad
you.
it worked out.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Good having you, man.
Absolute pleasure.
Nick,
And
absolutely.
if Nick ever wants to hang out with us in real life, you'll get to meet him in person someday.
That's right.
That's right.
So the second
That's
that
right.
you and Brian hang out without Dean, you let me know,
We'll call
Wait,
you.
what?
and I will be
What?
there.
No. What?
We'll call
Oh.
you. We got to
So-
get the two shows together too. That'll be a hoot.
That's right. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it'll be fun.
Absolutely. So look for Keith and me as well on our other podcast. It Came From GenX. You can find us out there on all your major podcast platforms as well. We also have our own website, itcamefromgenx.wordpress.com. Check us out there. Keith, do you have any upcoming shows?
And you can
mentioned were
find
playing.
Nick and I behind a dumpster at your local convenience store.
That's right, as usual.
Yeah, as
So-
a matter of do fish. On the 21st, that's a Thursday. I will be playing. It's called BPM, which stands for Brooks, Porter, and McKenzie. Eric Brook, one of the most famous musicians out of Canton. Al McKenzie is the bass player for Firehouse, and we will be playing at Lou's Tavern out on Lincoln Way on the 21st. And my band Mixed Nuts will be playing on the 23rd at you know what? I have no idea. Well, that'll be.
And while he's looking that up, might I say I saw Mixed Nuts live and they were freaking awesome.
Thank you,
Yes.
brother.
I mean, damn near just quite entertaining. If you when he finds the date, go see them.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
I'm glad you were there. Okay, so we'll be doing a show at it's called it's close by too. I know it's on Talmadge Avenue. It will be on Triplet.
Okay.
It's called Fire and Ice.
Oh yes, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Fire and
Yeah.
Ice on Triplet. So that's April 23rd.
By Strickland's over there. Yep.
Yep.
By the Akron, old Akron Airport there. Yep.
So we will be with Stealing the Covers, who you guys saw us with
Yeah.
as well. So same show. So
Terrific.
Very cool.
Very good. Come
Well,
on,
if
man.
you would like to find somewhere to transfer spending your time,
No. This will be bullshit if you don't do this in the fucking voice of Batman.
Mhm.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
Good point.
All right.
There you go. Settle in.
Well, that time of the night has come. It is time for us to retire deep into the Batcave. And when you are in the Batcave doing all of your super secret detective work, you must go to Google and search in Convincing Idiots Linktree, LINKTREE. There you will find links to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, our YouTube channel, as well as all the platforms you can listen to our podcast. And don't forget TikTok, as well as our website, convincingidiots.wordpress.com. So, the next time you seek vengeance, look no further than convincingidiots.wordpress.com. For this episode of Convincing Idiots, I am the Dark Millennial, Nick.
I thought I was a dark millennial, but whatever. Whatever. Ain't enough roles for white guys. You got to be the dark millennial as well. Really, Nick? Seriously? Jeez. Me nor Idris Elba can get a role.
You could be like the shady Gen X or something like that. Whatever you.
Shadow Gen X?
Shadow. I wasn't a big
Shadow.
Shadow play for you.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
VenGenX. There you go. Vengeance. VenGenX.
But
Ooh,
Nick, that was
there
a
you
good.
go.
That was a good. I need a bowel movement voice. That was great.
That's good.
How scratchy
Appreciate
is your
that.
voice?
A little bit. Not too bad.
A little bit.
Well, I'm into the enemas. All right.
Nothing some bourbon won't help.
I'm doing that now. I am Zennial Dean.
I am Gen X Brian. That was a William Shatner, Adam West voice there. Sorry. Yeah.
A bit of a hybrid, yes. I don't need
And-
Jimmy Stewart. So I don't.
And with us is Porterhouse, Keith Porter. So for this episode of Convincing Idiots, have we convinced you that there are many places in Gotham City for many different versions of Batman, and none of them are George Clooney?
Martha.